they say all men are created equal.
Shot! Master!
I pull out the Glock.
Full of suffering succotash, son.
One of your nuts is hanging out of your shorts.
Real glass!
You have a father, but your father's dead.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Too Sweet podcast with Lucy and Estelle, and we're a bit all over the place, but we are back, and the plan for this week is we obviously haven't done a full Revolution review. We're going to cover that, we're going to cover the main talking points from Revolution, and then we're going to talk about Dynamite from this week. So yeah, life's basically been kicking us in the ass, so we've been a little bit inconsistent, but we're here now and that's all that matters. How are you doing, Estelle? How are you feeling after, it's been a lot of wrestling to watch this week.
Yeah, for sure. Like, Revolution was a sick show. I feel like it's a real shame that we couldn't review it. I mean, I think there's a huge factor in the fact that you lose a day with it being on a Sunday, and especially working Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, corporate slaves. It's like you don't, like, before I would always stay up, whereas now, like, there's just no, but and that definitely takes away from the show. Not that it made the show bad or anything, but it's just like I love staying up late. Like, and there is something to being in England and having to stay up to 1 a.m. I think, because you are just delirious, and so,
yes, so true.
You reach a point of just like, what the fuck is going on? But it's brilliant. Like, there's adrenaline. You know, it's not just, oh, I'm sitting down. It's 7 o'clock. Stick the TV. It's an event. It's exciting. It reminds me of being a kid. And then like the live chat and you know, watching it with other people and like what's going to happen, and especially in the most like daring spots and things, it can be really nail biting because you truly do not know if people are going to die or not. It can feel like so. Like, I'm imagining, especially watching the death match live, like being that delirious, being on the live chat, being like, holy shit, what is going to happen? Like, that would have been awesome. But yeah, unfortunately, just not the case. Which, like I say, is a bit of a shame. But I managed to watch a bit Monday and a bit Tuesday.
Me too, yeah.
And then, yeah, we thought, like, by filming on Wednesday, there's no real point. We might as well just surmise our thoughts today. The wrestling was really, really good. I think AEW on a whole right now is just on top form. It's absolutely cooking. They even got that My AEW thing that they've debuted, that streaming platform. Which is pretty cool. Obviously, Wembley all-in tickets are on sale this week. We'll be hoping to secure some. I mean, we saw some on the pre-sale, but they haven't. They've got like the corners basically. They don't have the. I mean, we're not sitting on the floor or barricade. We don't have that kind of money, but we kind of want to sit where we sat a year ago, 2 years ago, how long it was, where we're like in that mid-bowl. In the middle, it was a perfect seat. So, but those don't seem to be on sale at the minute. They're kind of holding them back. So we're taking a bit of a gamble with it, which I feel like people will be this year. I feel like people will be kind of waiting around for the tickets because, yeah, like why it's not going to exactly sell out. And in the past, like when it first came out, people might like have panicked, but like I need to buy this ticket, but I do feel quite comfortable with waiting. I think they have some of the the nosebleed ones super cheap at like £30, which is just crazy that you could go watch that monumental of a show for 30 quid. And we sat in the nosebleed one year, like practically on the roof, and it was I won't want to do it again by choice, but it was a fantastic experience. And it's a different experience because you can see the whole crowd. Yeah. And we could see the fireworks. I mean, you can see the fireworks, but like the fireworks like right above our head. So it's still, no matter what, as long as you don't have a massive fucking pillar or camera in your bloody face, you're fine, aren't you? But yeah, I thought it was a great show. But I thought there was a lot of. I remember watching it, and because I wasn't watching it live as well, you kind of have. Like, it would have been like a 9 out of 10 pay-per-view, I think, if I had to rank off the top of my head. But there were like subtle things when I was watching it, and especially watching it more critically because it's in the day. I'm watching it in chunks, so I'm like absorbing it better, I'm processing it better. Where I just felt like, is that the decision I would have took? Probably not. But anyway, so it was a very long assessment. But what's your general thoughts, I guess, on Revolution?
Yeah, I agree with you. Like the wrestling was really solid. I really enjoyed like the first half. I felt like it went by so
Oh yeah.
quickly. Um,
It did go by fast, didn't it, this pay-per-view? It did not drag.
yeah. Um, how long was it? Like 4 hours, 3.5 hours ish. And everything, yeah, seemed to flow pretty well. But there were a lot of like shocking moments. Big returns seemed to be like the theme of the night. And um, yeah, I agree with what you said about there were some decisions where it's a bit like, interesting choice. Um, that sort of threw me a little bit. But overall, yeah, positive. I'd agree with the 9 out of 10.
Yeah. Speaking of like the returns or the debuts, I think the one that probably was the most of a talking point, which is a shame when you've got like Osprey returning and Cope and Christian, but it was Ronda Rousey. Like I said, I watched it a day later, so that headline did make its way to me, and I was thinking, what the fuck? Like, just genuinely why? And I watched it, and I still was like, what the fuck? Just genuinely why? I still don't understand whether she was just doing it as like a celebrity appearance, like a favor for sort of like Marina Shafir and their friendship, or whether this is like Ronda Rousey is now
Thing.
all elite.
Yeah,
But
honestly, no
I
idea.
really do not understand because I know there's the argument of, well, this wasn't a wrestling fan decision. Like sometimes you have to make a business decision, and I get that. Like I'm happy to make decisions for the betterment of the product. To it, but then there's still like a morality line within that. Like, yeah, we could go to fucking Saudi Arabia and rake in a shitload of cash, but is that ethical? No. You know, there's still things like that. There has to like, yes, things can be good for business, but things can also just not be a good idea. And not to relate Ronda Rousey to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, but like it is also, in my opinion, not a good idea. And Ronda Rousey is universally disliked, which in wrestling is very difficult. Like there's a lot of polarizing people or controversial people that people don't like, but people will I mean, even Brock Lesnar, who is like just the worst. But he has fans. Even Chris Benoit, there was some fucking edgelord being like, "Oh yeah, Chris Benoit's my favorite wrestler." Do you know what I mean? But no,
Yep.
even those fuckers have fans. Ronda Rousey has no fucking fans because she buried the business, brother. And how you can come back after that is just like I just think like if you don't have any respect, not the others, not the Brock Lesnar or Chris. I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. But But Ronda Rousey is just like a what the fuck decision, especially AEW, which is like so proud and like purist like wrestling and like morale seems to be really high at the minute. We've just sorted out the locker room. Why would you think bringing this person in is a good idea?
It's
Like
crazy.
genuinely,
Well,
it makes no sense.
I
And
got,
she's not, sorry, she's not even got that much clout. I was going to say, my point being, because I kind of tirade off about good business decisions. I don't think it is a good business decision because she's not even got that much clout anymore. It's not fucking
oh,
2014 anymore. You know, times have
exactly.
moved on.
Yeah.
Times have moved way on.
Yeah, she's not. I mean, yes, she's a big star, still like a big name. People know her name, but her stock peaked 10 years ago. And we're well past that now. And in terms of it being a business decision, like it makes no fucking sense because her biggest thing that she's got going on right now is her upcoming fight against Gina, what's her name? So that's like obviously the main thing that people like. For example, I've just quickly Googled her. That's the main headlines. It's not Ronda Rousey in AEW. It's this fight. It's this fight that's coming up. This UFC fight, right? Which is being aired on fucking Netflix, by the way. Netflix, WWE's ass. So it makes no sense. None of it makes any fucking sense. And I understand she probably don't give a fuck because I think she's been bad mouthing TKO and WWE this whole time. So clearly maybe she's done this to piss them off. I don't know, I'm just speculating there. But it just and as well, yeah, you're right. No one likes her, no one asked for this. I don't think she added anything to the angle other than a bit of a shock factor, but it's more like a why the fuck would you do that type of shock rather than a, oh, isn't this cool kind of shock? So, yeah, a fuck Ronda Rousey, and it's rare as well. I often find like hate against women's wrestlers to be very misogynistic, and it usually is rooted in misogyny. But fuck her. I also cannot stand her, so you're right. It's so rare that it's like a unanimous decision across the board, but I am also a hater. I am also a hater, so I don't get it. And also, like, they were talking about it at the top of Dynamite this week, but then when it was actually like, oh my God, my brain, Marina wrestling against Mina Shirakawa, I feel like they didn't talk about Ronda Rousey at all. Like they barely mentioned her. I feel like that's the time when you should be when it's relevant to the story. And it felt like they just glossed past it. So I'm so confused. I don't know where we're going with this. It seemed like she was calling out Tony Storm at Revolution.
Yeah. Yeah.
And are we to assume that she's the one who put out Tony Storm? Because we'll get into it, a whole angle where she was basically murdered backstage. Are we to assume that was Ronda Rousey? I don't have a clue because then they were also sort of speculating that it was Marina Shafir who did it. I'm confused by the whole situation.
Yeah, you and me both. And then with the scope of returns, we had Will Ospreay's return.
Oh my God,
which
huge.
Absolutely huge. Been out for 6 months. It does not feel like 6 months. I've not been chomping at the bit thinking, when is Will Ospreay going to come back? Which I think is a good thing because the roster is so stacked and so full. It's not like, God, we're really missing Will Ospreay. Right? I mean, yeah, we miss Will Ospreay and it's great to have him back. But I think it just shows how strong AEW is at the moment and how strong the main event scene is that I personally like. I've been like, oh, when's he going to come back and like fantasy booking a bit, but not when they were like 6 months. I was like, 6 months. It does not feel like 6 months.
No.
But yeah, good to have him back.
Yeah, excellent seeing back. He looks buff as shit. I love his new tattoo.
Bad haircut though.
Yeah, valid about the hair, but everything else looking pretty good. Yeah, and obviously he's coming straight for revenge for Moxley, which I'm glad that they're going with sort of with that rather than like, oh well, Moxley fans love him now, so we can't have that. No, it's like you fucking tried to kill me, and I like how we're still telling that story. It's still quite nuanced. Like, yeah, we like Moxley now, but he's been a dickhead in the past. Yeah, it's great to see Ospreay back. But I'm a little bit concerned about him, like because Danielson said on commentary, like, my surgery was nowhere near as big as his, and I took longer to come back than he did. So it's like, Jesus Christ, I hope he doesn't take it too far, but he knows his body best. So it's great that he's been cleared to come back, and we'll get into it. But the match he had on Dynamite was great as well.
Yeah, I mean, following on to that point, I don't really know how to feel. Like, I think it's good and bad about him coming back 6 months. Not like he's kind of coming back still with John Moxley. You wronged me, but to me, it's just a bit weird because like people were booing Mox this week. And I just feel like I get what it's saying. Like, for consistency, it's good. But I think it might muddy his character a bit because I feel like we got to this place where he's like this cult antagonist anti-hero baby face almost. And now Ospreay's come in and he's like, I don't know. I just feel like, not that we can't have nuance because we can, but I'm just a bit wary of it.
Yeah,
it just feels like something we kind of have to. It's not like when the Death Riders did it, they were kind of like not the top of the game, but you know, a bit more of a stronger unit than they are now, and it just feels just a bit like, oh, this is something we have to do till we get to the good stuff, which is never like, stuff can make sense, and there's like consistency, and I get that. But it's like, oh, this is something we have to do. That's like how I feel. And yeah, just the character dynamics. Like, how am I supposed to feel about Mox now?
Yeah, and I get that. And I get that it can, I know what you mean about it muddying his character and making it maybe a little bit confusing or convoluted. But I lean more towards the fact that like if Osprey came back and didn't go after Moxley, it'd be fucking weird. Like, tried to kill me, tried to end my career. You made me, and in kayfabe, made me need this life-changing surgery, and I might have never come back to wrestling. So of course I'm gonna go after you. I don't care what the fans think of you now. I need to get my revenge. I was just laughing at the way the camera just zoomed in on Estelle.
Never gets
but
old.
but I get you. What was that? And that's made me lose my train of thought completely. Something, and I feel like I would have more problem with it if he was just like, "Oh, it's all right, Moxley. Don't you worry. I forgive you. I'll just focus on something else." But
No,
I
I get
totally
that.
get where you're coming from.
It just depends how Mox plays it off. Because if
Yeah,
Mox now
100%.
goes into like I'm the bad guy, I'm the heel, and really plays into it, then I think it money's in. But if he kind of is like, you want to fight and just laughs in his face, come at me, bro. Like,
Yeah.
haha, like this is just a lol to me. I'm in a different place now. I'm not new year, new me. Like, it depends how they kind of play it off, I
Well,
guess.
I think that they're kind of making the fans overthink it, whereas to Moxley, or in his head, he justified it was, I'm still the same guy that I've been all along. I've literally been doing the same stuff since then that I'm doing now. Nothing about me has changed. I'm real. He said, like, I
Mox will be
don't.
like,
What?
sorry, no, I was just gonna say Mox will be like, see, this is what I wanted to teach you. He'll just gaslight. This is what I wanted to teach you all along. Look how fired up you are now.
Yeah,
This is
right,
what I
exactly.
wanted.
Exactly. Um, uh, can't remember what I was saying, doesn't I?
Sorry,
If it was a good
sorry.
point, it's obviously wasn't that good if I can't remember it, so it's all good.
And then I guess the other return of the night was Copeland and Christian. So what do you think of that?
Um, I felt like I should have felt more than what I did. Like, I felt like I should have strong feelings about this, but I just didn't. I was like, oh, right, back to this. Because I'm sorry, probably people have a lot of fondness for these two, but I I guess I don't.
You
I
don't have
I
any fondness for
no,
Christian and
I do.
Copeland.
I of course I do have fondness for them, but I guess for me this didn't feel like a really big exciting return. It just felt quite convenient. Oh yeah, of course, like you come at the end of the match after I've already retained and you are gonna challenge them again. And we've kind of been there and done that in the past. So I'm not complaining about it, but I'm kind of just indifferent about it. I mean, what about you?
I think it's really nice to have her back. They definitely add a presence to the show, but I think they just really fucked this storyline up. Like, if they just have held it back for ages and then done it, or that'd be different. Or if they'd done it at the start but it's been so forcefully dragged out
Yeah.
that it's really lost its momentum. And it was really charming, the whole Copeland being like the baby face, and obviously we got the promo at the end of Dynamite, and Copeland being the fired up baby face, and don't mind this guy, he's just saying some whack shit. Like it was endearing, and it still is endearing to an extent, but it's like you say, like we've seen it be played out. It's it's getting kind of tired, and we kind of got it to the peak. And right when you had all this momentum and like Beth was attacked and whatnot, that's when you pulled the plug. And obviously it seemed like that plug
Right.
was pulled because of personal reasons, which we don't know about, but it did seem like Copeland, for whatever reason, or Christian, for whatever reason, had to step away to sort something out, which, if it's family, if it's personal life, like that always comes first, absolutely. But without knowing that context and just from a wrestling show perspective, it's just predictable. And AEW's gotten very good at like not doing predictable things, not doing things just for the sake of it. Like they're very good at swerving, I feel like, but not swerve to the extent of like, oh god, that's too much. Like just that it's almost like approaching it at a different angle. Like,
Yeah.
oh
That you
okay,
don't
I
quite
wouldn't have seen it
expect.
going from that angle.
Yeah.
But And it's just like I've always said about rated FTR and then now Cope Christian and FTR. They're all best friends, and it's just
Popping
very
the boys.
self-indulgent. It's just boys being boys, boys putting boys in sharpshooters, boys drinking whiskey in a bar, not tequila. Like it's just yeah, like you, like it doesn't set my world on fire. It's not offensive.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly that.
hate it. And I think like the Young Bucks at the end, to me, it kind of adds something to it because I like the fact that the Bucks are like the underdogs in the story, and they're like we're going to work our way up, and they've kind of been like pushed aside now, and they're going to kind of I don't know, like they've got that like fire under their ass, that like motivation that's quite fun. And I think
Yeah.
if these guys could have like a freeway match, I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Yes.
But we
That's why
can't
I thought
just
they were
do
going there with
the
that,
same
but
old.
I thought that's the direction we were headed, but doesn't seem at this
Yeah.
point that it is.
Yeah. And then I think like with controversial decisions as well, like I was a bit shocked that they took the tag titles off Babes of Wrath for
Oh my God. Yes, this is my biggest bugbear with this show. This match, bell to bell, 6 minutes-ish. It's fucking bullshit, man. It really got under my skin. And I understand the story, like, oh, Willow, she's such a fighting champion. She got beaten to death on the pre-show, but she still wants to defend her tag team championships and keep two championships. I get it. But to have Harley take all the heat in the match and then Willow get the hot tag, which was completely anticlimactic, by the way. Willow, who is injured, it just didn't make any sense. It was like the match was inside out almost. And then Willow basically took like three moves, powerbomb, pin, lost the tag titles. In this 5 minute match, it felt so deflating. And, even as I can acknowledge that I'm a biased Willow Nightingale and Harley Cameron fan. Yeah, sure, and it's no secret on this podcast that we're not the biggest Megan Bayne fans. And I think, yeah, present Megan Bayne as like a powerhouse, sure, but there's so many factors in this that I hate. The fact that the match was so short, the fact that they just went for such a lazy route with Willow being injured, the structure of the match, the fact that Megan Bayne has been through about 10 tag team partners already, and those belts have only existed for like 2 months. The fact that the reign was cut so short, none of it landed for me.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the stories were really well built up. In the tag division, it sometimes is the case that, they're not as built up because you're not going to get those kind of personal storylines unless you've got kind of like lightning in a bottle, like FTR and the Bucks, which have a lot of history together. And so it kind of they're kind of like perfect foils. Um, but I think going into it, it wasn't very a compelling storyline anyway. It was quite a generic one of, oh, I've been injured earlier on, and now I'm not going to be able to perform at full
Yeah,
capacity tonight. Um, yeah, it was really short, and it just felt really artificial. Like
yeah,
we need to show that these two were. Is it Lena Cross? Is that her
yeah,
name?
yeah.
Lena Cross and Megan Bayne are really, really strong, so they beat them in 6 minutes
But,
and look at all
yeah,
this pyro. They're so strong, but like
it
it
didn't.
just doesn't feel very compelling when the match is so like fair enough if you it would have been different if they would have even given him 15 minutes, 20
Yeah,
minutes and it was a really hard fought battle and it's like heartbreaking like Willow she just can't do it and but it was very like
it felt
I
like a foregone
hate when it's
conclusion.
really yeah, I hate when it's really obvious when the booker is like pushing you into a decision. And like with Megan Bayne, it's always been like being pushed into liking her, being pushed into thinking she's really cool. And
Yeah,
like with this match, like I said, it's a foregone conclusion, and it's like I want these people to walk away and wow, like these women are strong and deadly. But I didn't feel like that. It
not
was
at
more
all.
like, oh, the booking protected them rather than like their
Yeah.
wrestling didn't speak for their strength. The booking did.
Yeah, and I mean, it didn't have that impact at all because Willow was fucking injured. So like you're not a fucking badass bitch. You beat someone who's injured. That doesn't make you look like a strong competitor. It makes you look like a coward. And I guess is that sort of the point? Oh well, the heels, of course they're cowards. Yeah, yeah, whatever. But it felt just way too down downhearted, like unoptimistic. Like Willow's got no chance, and sure enough, she fucking didn't. I was just like, oh, fucking hell.
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't sure if there was like a real injury or anything, but I didn't go online afterwards and haven't seen anything since. So
Don't think
it
so.
is just a really weird choice and just yeah, momentum cutting. But also I think then it gives it that shitty clause of, well, you didn't beat me on my best day, and so then now you're at ground zero because
Yeah,
you just know there's going to be a rematch clause, and it's like I don't really have that much interest in it, to be honest with you. Like don't really care. Uh, and
exactly.
there's a lot of heel tag teams, I guess, like female tag teams. So it's a choice to have the champion be a heel because now, like, who are they going to wrestle? It's going to be like a lot of heel on heel action, which isn't
Yeah.
that compelling. But yeah, not to go down like every match because we do need to do the Dynamite review. Takeshita versus Moxley, I thought was class. FTR versus the Bucks, I thought was incredible,
Yeah,
especially
me
given
too.
how much these two teams have wrestled each other and that they just always pull it out of the bag every
Something,
damn time.
something new out the bag.
You
It's
love it.
unbelievable.
But I think we do have to touch on finally before we just wrap this like mini review up the main event, Hangman versus MJF, which was the Texas Death Match, which was a very long match and an absolute war. They beat the living shit out of each other. It was, I was very pessimistic going into this match. I was very much like, well, what can they do that I haven't seen before? I feel like I've seen a million death matches. I'm not that into the stip. I just really was not up there for it, but I really did enjoy the match. I thought it was very very good, very compelling, very violent. The spots were innovative. We got to see Hangman walk MJF like a dog, which I think
Win for the
probably
girlies.
the woof. And MJF retained. So Hangman
Crazy.
can now never challenge for the men's world title, which it's just like why would you book that? Like I'd love to see how Tony Khan is going to work his way out of that because it's just like why?
I
I
tell you
don't know. Like
how.
it does. I'm not like enthralled by it. I'm not like, oh, that's crazy. That. Or I'm just like, why?
Why?
Like,
Yeah, I'll tell you how he's gonna get out of it. And they pointed this out on commentary. It's not a contractual thing, it's just Hangman's word. So he hasn't signed a contract saying he'll never challenge again. It'll probably end up someone being like someone really pushing Hangman's buttons or like someone who he really respects offering him a title match. Sometime I'm not saying it's gonna happen soon, but sometime in the future that's probably I imagine that's gonna happen. Or he's
oh,
gonna go on and like elevate other championship belts. Hopefully that'll be the better option. But yeah, they made a point of being like, it's Hangman's word, and it's like, right, right.
but if I could book it, I'd do it differently. I'd
Of
do
course
what
you
you
would.
just said. I'd have him elevate all the different belts. And on the surface, he is, what a great guy. Hangman's so great. He's elevating all this young talent, but underneath he's like masking and it's eating away at him that he can't win the world title. And especially when the world did I mention he's the most dangerous man becomes champion, it's gonna kill him. And eventually this rotten beast inside of Hangman is gonna come out and he's gonna go and he's gonna turn heel and he's all these friendships that he's built up, he's just gonna burn down and he's gonna go full psycho mode. And then by this point Swerve will be face and then he comes up to Swerve and he's like, I don't give a shit, I'm going to fight you. And it's like, this man's lost all morality. This man's lost like all sanity. His word meant nothing. He's got nothing. He's a piece of shit. And that's how I book it.
Yes, I fucking love that. He's burning those bridges down like he burnt down Swerve's house. Absolutely.
Yeah. I just like to watch men descend into madness and just suffer. That's my booking style.
Love that.
Psychological torture.
I love that, and watching men suffer is also one of my joys in life. I guess that's why I enjoyed this death match so much. The blood, the needles going through the cheeks. I mean, I'm actually pretty scared of needles, but I found that really.
Me too.
I found it quite nice to watch. I was like,
no,
not
it was like
nice,
squirting
but
out as well. It's
yeah, the
disgusting.
squirting out bit was awful. Hated that, but I was like, this is kind of cathartic. Like, oh yeah, that can just pierce your fucking skin. I don't know. Um, the all the pile drivers, they were just killing each other, and yeah, it was good.
I absolutely hate. What is that move called? Why can I not remember that move?
Deadeye.
Not the Heat Seeker. Deadeye. I hate seeing the Deadeye through the tables.
Yeah, it's horrid.
They do it
isn't it?
all the time. It's the worst thing. Like, give me
Yeah.
1,000 needles, give me 1,000 staplers. That Deadeye through the table, like the way their head and MJF's at one point, the table didn't like break. The table only broke through Hangman's knees, and MJF's head hit it first, and it like bounced off, and it just gross.
Ugh. And also the finish. Can we talk about the finish as well? Like Hangman blindsided by like someone using his own tactics, and how like sort of poetic that is, because like he sees MJF as sort of like a reflection of his bad parts. Like he sees himself in MJF, and he said that in some of his promos, and then for him to be, I guess, blindsided by his own ego, because he was the one who put on the dog collars, and for that to then massively backfire in his face, but with a little bit of Max Sparkle added, because it was with the diamond ring as well. I just thought, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. But I just didn't know what to think about the fact that MJF won. I just hope that we're not going down the stupid route, like I said, where it's like, oh well, actually, no, never mind. But I have faith that if they're gonna do that, they're not gonna do it for like at least like a couple of years down the line.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of long-term booking, and I'd rather it be like my booking style of a character development thing rather than it just feels a little bit corny. Like, this is a dream match. How could I ever say no?
Yeah.
Like, that to me is just a bit too WWE, just a bit too sports entertainment-y.
Yeah, yeah. Me too, but I can see it happening.
But I really feel like we should move on because we are
Yeah.
here to review Dynamite. So we'll go into that, which I found Dynamite really entertaining this week. There was just a lot of insanity. There was a lot of good wrestling, and it was just it. I just found it. I hate to use the word, but just fun. I just found it to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, me too. It was.
Really easy to watch. Really easy to watch.
Yeah, it was like you breezed through it, didn't you? It was easy watching. It was entertaining. Yeah, we started off the show with Will Ospreay making his return, like we touched on earlier. So, Excalibur made the point that he was injured by John Moxley, so it's like planting that seed, keeping it in the viewer's head that like, yeah, we're going down this route. John Moxley's the cause of all
Danielson
this.
had that like really awkward moment, didn't he? So
Yes,
they started the
yes.
match, and then they were talking about Tony Storm, and his brain just had like a meltdown. He was like, I felt so bad for him.
It was very, they were all over the place in the opening months. So what was happening was, and I don't think it was the commentator's fault. Will Ospreay was making his entrance, which should have been this
Which is
really
huge. Should have
big
been the
moment.
central point.
Exactly, yeah. It should have been this really big moment, like, oh my God, the fans are singing his name. It's his first match back. It's a massive return. But obviously, someone's been in Excalibur's ear and said, we need to set up the match for later tonight we talk about Tony Storm. So Excalibur then sets up Bryan Danielson to talk about it. And Bryan Danielson, you can tell, is just like, what? Why the fuck are we talking about this? We should be talking about Will Ospreay. So Danielson's just
And
like...
he could not ad-lib. It
No.
fried his brain.
Not at
But it
all.
made me feel better. Like, when in corporate you're on a Teams call and someone puts you on the spot and you freeze. And I've done it so many times and I turn bright red and it's horrible. So to see someone do that at AEW Dynamite, it made me feel better. I was like,
Yeah, me
even
too.
Danielson has those moments.
Me too. No one's perfect. Everyone makes mistakes. It was a very humanizing moment. I just felt really bad for them. I just feel like
Yeah,
production were
it was
like,
cringe.
we need to get this in here somehow, and it just was totally the wrong moment for it. Unfortunately, I mean, that type of thing does happen. I mean, I've definitely done that on commentary before. Like, you wanna try and get something in, and you just time it all wrong, and it takes away from what's actually happening on the screen. But I feel like, yeah, in that instance, it was probably someone in the earpiece being like, Tony Storm, talk about Tony Storm. So yeah, that did actually take away from the moment a little
He
bit.
was quiet for a bit. I swear he was quiet for that whole match. He was quiet until John Moxley came out, and then he started talking. He was like, he was
Poor
traumatized.
guy. Poor guy, it knocked his confidence. But yeah, we had Blake Christian versus Will Ospreay.
Hmm.
So this wasn't obviously like a squash match for Will Ospreay coming back. It was a competitive matchup. Blake Christian got a lot of really cool stuff in. He did this cool move which was like a roll through with like a almost like an O'Connor roll followed by a splash. It was very cool. He did it on the outside, and then he tried to do it again in the ring, but Ospreay got his knees up. Yeah, he got Blake Christian got a lot of really good stuff in, and they were doing a lot of brawling outside the ring as well. Blake Christian even did the El Generico DDT through the ring post, which is like, oh yeah, love that. Man after my own heart. And speaking of that, like he was definitely going after Will Ospreay's neck. They were certainly working that with moves that it was enough to make you cringe, but like it's now daft. You know it's safe. Like we're not doing fucking pile drivers on the floor or out like that. But yeah, DDT is enough to make you be like, oh shit. In the end, Blake Christian kind of got a bit too cocky. He flipped off Ospreay. He went for a hidden blade, and then Ospreay reversed it and then hit the hidden blade for himself for the win. And I enjoyed it. I thought it was a great way to open the show. It was fast paced. It was obviously exciting inherently because Ospreay is back, and you want to see can he still go, and he certainly proved that he can.
Yeah, I think the match was a good blend of showcasing Osprey, but also like not being too squash matchy, which I think was fine because like Blake Christian is a fine wrestler. It's a
Yep.
shame that he's part of the swirl, and I was quite surprised to know like Blake Christian's all elite, and I was like, and he'd been all elite for ages now.
Yeah, apparently it was just
But
last week, and it was like, what?
yeah, so maybe that'll help with him being pushed. Also, being all elite, Mystico, not to go back to Revolution. Why was I so emotional about that? Why did that like really? I don't
Oh,
even like Mystico like that, but I was like, oh my God, this
I
is so
loved
cute.
that moment when they won and like the crowd was singing his theme. It was so lovely. And when Jet Speed were wearing his masks, it was just very wholesome, wasn't it?
Yeah. And, it's a bit of a shame with the commentary flounder, but I think it was really positive and cool to start off with Osprey because sometimes AEW doesn't have the best habit of kind of striking the iron while it's hot. And
Mm,
it's a big change of pace because we normally get the Mox match first.
yes,
So
very true.
it you won't have thought about it that much, but it probably subconsciously is like an alteration to the show. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. It set up his neck as like a big, like you said, a big spot that people are going to be wink wink this people are going to be targeting this in the future.
And
Um
they're gonna flog that horse to death on commentary. It's like Kenny
yeah,
and the
I'm kind of
stomach.
over it. It's obvious, but yeah, it's obvious. And I get it. It's like you saying, like with the Death Riders, like he has to come back to Death Riders. He has to have his neck. But it's like I feel like because it's so close to Kenny coming back with his stomach, and how that was just a thing. And I get it. That is wrestling, but it
Mhm.
just got to a point where I was like, I get
Just
it.
shut up.
I like when 90% of the commentary. I'm not mad about the opponent in the ring target in the stomach. It was more the fact that 90% of commentary was, oh my God, and that hit him in the stomach. Can you imagine the pain? Like,
Daddy to
it's almost
fly.
like the most dangerous man. I never want to hear the word dangerous in my fucking life again. That was a funny as fuck though, Revolution. Oh my God, not to go back to Revolution. And it was funny tonight as well, because Jesus Christ just kept mentioning it. But I'm the most dangerous. And then commentary as they're walking down. Who's the most dangerous? And that's why he's the most dangerous. I was like, I feel like I'm actually losing my fucking mind right now.
I'm Dirty Dan. No, I'm Dirty Dan. That's what it was given. Yeah, it's so fucking true. Yeah, exactly. Things can be overdone. And I get it, he had 2 feet of his intestine removed, and I get it, he's had his spine fused. I get it, he's the most dangerous. Fuck me.
I think it's because, as well, when Taz is there, Taz makes a meander. Taz is like a bit of ADHD sprinkle. And they're just kind of, which might not be for everyone, but it's like banter. But like with this, it's like, I don't know what to talk about. Someone in the air, dangerous man, he's the most dangerous man. Like, it's just, it is too much.
I feel a little bad for saying this, but I did feel like the commentary was kind of weak at Revolution. I'm not gonna lie. I felt like Nigel was really good, and then they swapped him out.
And Nigel's only on for a really short amount of time. I was like, we're saying bye to Nigel. I was like, why?
I do wonder why that is. But I understand that like 4 hours is a fucking long time. But maybe they could swap it out a bit more, because I did feel like towards the end they were fucking tired, and I don't blame them. I'd be fucking tired as well, and the fatigue's obviously going to set in. But yeah, I just feel like this commentary team needs a bit of Taz. We are desperately missing Taz. God, I miss him so much. I feel like he's my dad or something. I really love him. Need his guidance. We need him to take us through the storm on commentary. But anyway, yeah. So Will Ospreay then cut a promo, and he was like, "John Moxley, the main difference between me and you is I don't need a weapon to snap someone's neck. I can do it with my bare fucking hands." It's like, all right,
when he dropped the F-bomb,
dropping an F-bomb. Okay.
Oh my God.
Okay. So Moxley came down.
Can I just pause?
Yeah, go on.
Just a talking point. So there's been a general wide talking point in the wrestling community at the minute about, it's a lot of things that interlink, but essentially WWE, obviously their ticket pricing is really, really high, in it.
Yeah.
And so there's the idea that, well, not only are they pricing out families, but they're obviously just pricing out normal fans, because it's all just influencers and people like taking pictures and all this sort. But especially families. So then AEW is obviously a bit cheaper live shows. So it's like, oh, it could be the family alternative. But then people like clutching the pearls, and they're like, oh, well, you can't take your kids to this. You can't take your kids to this. Think of the children.
They're bleeding. They're dropping F-bombs.
And then obviously he said the F word. It is just crazy to me again, like, do what, like, safeguard the children, protect the children, but fuck me, like, what are you Amish? Like, how are you growing up? Like, what? Like, I don't get it. Like, these people, like, oh, can't protect the children. What will? Like, I don't understand this mentality.
I think we talked about this
these imaginary children that you don't have. Exactly. Like, why are you so protective of these children that don't even exist?
Exactly. I feel like we've talked about this on the podcast before. It's like, you have created these imaginary kids, like,
psychosis, man. It's
has
mental
never ever positioned itself as a kiddie product. It's never been like PG, bring all your family. Like, yes, there's kids in the audience, but it's never been geared that way like WWE is. It's more like, it's a wrestling show, we're going after that demographic, you know, the bloody demo, 18, 24, whatever. That's clearly the target audience, and any kids that you get is sort of like the cherry on top. It's never been a kiddie show, ever. So, but people imaginary being like projecting, like, oh, well, they want to bring in this audience. Well, I could never take my kids to an AEW show, look at all this, and it's like,
but they grew up on the Attitude Era, because all these people are old ass men.
Oh yeah.
Like,
they're just clutching at straws to come up.
And in the same breath, they'll be like, do you remember the Attitude Era? Do you remember this? Do you remember that? Like, I
Yeah,
don't, it's just disassociation, but it's been a big talking point because, like, from a business perspective of like, AEW right now could step up and take over a lot of the market. There's a lot of people who are really not happy with Triple H's booking. There's like talks about him being on the way out. People are not like the political decisions people aren't happy about and how expensive it is. So if they really wanted to maximize profits, they could. But like if I was a kid and I was watching this, I'd
I'd
think it
love
was
it.
fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love it. But I don't know, like, is that just I just don't get this like sheltered perspective
It's
of
yeah, me neither. I
like
feel
kids
like
don't get exposed to things. Like
it is people
I
who
just don't think you're
glorify.
in the real world.
Exactly, yeah, so true. And I also think you're so right that it's people who glorify like the Attitude Era as well. So it's like, well, which one is it? I feel
You
like
can
it's
tell they really want to like AW. It must absolutely kill these people because
yeah.
they've obviously chosen this hill to die on years ago.
That's it, yeah.
And they're clutching on so tightly. Like for me, like I'm AW, like it's my shit. But if WWE was better, like when NXT 2.0 was popping off, I decided to watch it. We watched it to review it, and I did actually really want to like it because I'd heard a lot of hype about it. But it just didn't do it for me for whatever reason. But I can understand the appeal, right? But it's like and if WWE turned a leaf and suddenly it had more of my style of wrestling, like for instance, Himuru, I'm a bit all over the place here, but there's talks about Evil and Himuru Takahashi potentially going to WWE, which is wild to me. Like, why any
It's
Japanese
wild.
wrestler would look at that and think
Oh yeah, that's where I want to go.
that is where I want to go. But I'm not gonna lie, if Takahashi goes to NXT, I probably will check out a few of his matches. And
Yeah.
if it's good, maybe it will be a pipeline into me watching a bit more. Maybe it will because I'm not that firmly against things failing.
Yeah.
But like certain people are just like, I hate this thing, and there is, but like it
Yeah,
must
it's
kill him. Like
yeah.
all these legends going over, like Christian and Copeland, and they really wanted MJF to sign to the Fed, but when they didn't, it's like, ew, MJF's gross. And like, you clearly want to like it. Like,
Yeah,
just like it, dude.
exactly, yeah. It's it is toxic. They've just chosen the side of the fence for whatever reason, and anything, any sort of argument, whether they believe it or not, against it, they'll take like, the oh, they're just too violent. Oh my God, they just take it too far. It's like, oh, go to bed, grandma. Shut up, stop complaining. You just stop being a pussy, basically.
Yeah. Pull the stick out your ass.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, where were we? Tangents.
We were talking about Osprey was doing a promo. Moxley came down, they started brawling, but then Pac attacked him from behind and then locked him in like his submission thing. And he sort of was getting checked out by a medic, and we were sort of transitioning into the next match. Bang Bang Gang came out, and then suddenly
Oh, love
Osprey
the
like
chaos.
jumped Pac out of nowhere. The Bang Bang Gang was stood there like, what the hell? And I liked that a lot. It was a fun little transition.
There was a lot of
Um,
that in the show of just chaotic shit happening,
yeah,
and I really liked it. It was, yeah, I love when things bleed into each other, and it makes it feel more real rather than, and now it's this guy's
scripted
match's
TV
turn,
show.
and this, yeah, it doesn't feel like scripted. It feels more more real, and it was nice for Osprey to get a licking now rather
Yeah,
than like,
true.
hold it back for the sake of, oh, well, we can do more programming this way. It's like, no, let's just fucking do it. Let's just go for it. And like for me, obviously, who's like, oh, this is just something we have to get out of the way. It makes it more exciting rather than like
Hmm.
paying by numbers. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm gonna come out next week and I'm Mox and I'm gonna do my promo. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's
100%.
it's more fun, more
Yeah,
fluid.
definitely. It's less formulaic, isn't it? I feel like we're probably gonna get Osprey versus Pac first because of Pac
I
was
did think
targeting
that.
Osprey, maybe on an episode of Dynamite. And then Osprey
It'll
versus
bang. It
Moxley
will
being
bang.
the pay-per-view match, which will be fun. Um, so yeah, this like as mentioned, bled into the next match. Bang Bang Gang got to finish their entrance eventually. Versus Moxley and Wheeler Yuta, which again was interesting because the crowd were cheering for the Bang Bang Gang. So it's all a
But they
bit
are
topsy
face.
turvy. Well, yeah, but as in, I guess what I mean more is like they were booing Moxley, so it's like okay,
Yeah,
well
that's what.
we're going back to that. It's
Yeah, and that was my point of like, it's just a bit.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
Mox as a heel is just not good. Like Mox is just a stereotypical beat down heel. It's not the vibe. We
mm,
don't like that vibe.
fair enough. And speaking of which, he was being very aggressive in this match, and Wheeler Yuta was being an annoying little shit, sort of like a little dog following him around. It was a simple match. There was now again now daft. It was quite a pretty normal like tag team match, nothing completely out of the blue. Daniel Garcia repeatedly tried to get involved, and but then Austin Gunn evened the odds. Wheeler Yuta hit the Psycho knee on Ace Wheeler, and Moxley hit a cutter on Juice Robinson, and then Yuta sort of like totally neutralized him. He did a big dive on him on the outside. Moxley hit the Death Rider onto Ace Austin for the win, and that was the match. And I felt like it was entertaining, nothing that's gonna stick in your mind for years to come, but very solid TV match, pretty much. So then we had Gabe Kidd cut in a like it was like a promo package in anticipation of the coffin match we were going to have on Dynamite between him and Darby Allin, of course. Who else? We also then had Kenny Omega doing a concise little promo.
Was
Basic,
that the video package?
yeah,
And it had like metal in the background.
yes.
I feel like it should have had, "Where the hell is my husband?" Woo-hoo. I like, "Is somebody gonna match my freak?"
Oh my God, yeah.
Like,
Will someone please edit that on TikTok, please, for the love of God.
I think Gabe Kidd is so funny.
He's
His
a brilliant
accent is just
humorist.
ridiculous. "I'm Gabe Kidd. I'm gonna fight you." Like, shut up, man. And then Darby Allin, and they're just freaks, man. They're just like little perverted freaks. Like, "I'm gonna kill you. I'm
They're
gonna kill you,
soulmates.
Darby." Like, why are you on level 100? And I used to hate this shit. I was like, "This is ridiculous." I love it. I think this is bloody fantastic
Oh,
now.
you've gone like full 180.
No, I think it's so
So,
entertaining.
so far the other way that you actually like it now.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, they're literally
And
soulmates.
it was so sorry. It was
Go
so
on.
dramatic. He was like, in the video package, he was like, "I didn't die on Everest for this." Like, what are you on about, man?
Yeah. Is it that deep?
Yeah, it's
Seriously.
like it's like two 13-year-old emos getting together, and they're like, "We're vampires, and I love my vampire boyfriend. I love my." Do you know what I mean? Like little freaks
Yeah,
together.
just two little freaks, yeah.
Like they've got like a blood pact. Like, "I love you till death." Like on the
Oh,
playground, the role playing as werewolves and
you know
vampires. Like,
what? That's
but it's
actually
wholesome.
that actually is so cute. Like imagine them as just besties in high school or something.
Yeah,
And
they
yeah,
are.
that
They are
so
little
wholesome.
freaks.
Someone should write that as a fan fiction. I never knew I could have these types of feelings about Darby Allin. I've never had fan fiction feelings
It's
about him
Gabe Kid.
before.
He's brought it out. Like, Gabe Kid never really gave a fuck about him. He's got like a milligram more personality though than David Finlay. That's always been my Gabe Kid thoughts. As a wrestler, yeah, fairly entertaining, but he's just a freaky English bald man with a beard. But then with Darby Allin, there's something about him. Like, they just complement each other really, like a delicious meal.
A delicious meal. I don't think I'd go that far, personally, but each to their own. Each to their own. Before we get into that match, we do need to address Kenny Omega did threw out a number one contenders match to Swerve in a little promo. And but then yes, we had the coffin match. And it started out in which was apparently the parking lot outside the arena. I don't believe that. Looked more like it was in the middle of a brownfield site than an arena, but okay, sure. They were brawling, they were fighting. There was chloroform involved. Fucking hell. Um, Gabe Kidd got shoved into the trunk of a car. Darby Allin just like you're playing on GTA and you lose control of the car. He fucking just crashed that shit, flipped it over, landed on its roof, and you think, oh right, okay, this is like
And it
time.
was a really awkward bit with commentary afterwards. That was way too long. It was way too long. They were just like, and it was so obvious they was going to come back out. None of the crowd was silent, which was also taken out. There was no reaction to this whatsoever. People were just like, there was a bunch of guys, and I don't think they must have, I felt like they were invited because they all had like these lanyards on behind the commentary desk, and they were just there like really unimpressed. And they're like, that's just I don't know what to say, but they were just saying that for 5 minutes. They were like, do you know what to say? I don't know what to say.
You
And then
know,
they're like zooming
yeah.
in on the coffin and they're like, that's the coffin. It was the most
Well,
awkward commentary ever. And then,
there we see
sorry
the
to take
coffin.
over, but then what made me laugh the most was when gay kids rolled in and it's like GCSE drama, like pretending to be like dead. Like, and then when he put him in that straight jacket, it was just pure comedy. It was pure comedy.
It really was. I mean, if you take it as camp, you're going to enjoy it
It
so
is
much
very
more
camp.
than if you try and take it seriously. Um,
Very Matt Hardy, I thought.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So yeah, like you say, Gabe Kidd's basically a corpse. Darby Allin's dragging him. Commentary don't know what the fuck to say. Tony Schiavone's calling it nutty. It's like, okay, this is
It was a bit in like his Michael Cole era during this. He was just burying it the whole time. But I know what he was trying to do was he was trying to be like, oh, this is so shocking. I've never seen anything like this. But he said it about 50 times to the point where it was just like, again, with commentary, just repeating the same line over and over again. To the point where it was like, he was just practically burying it. And it's like, yeah, we know it's nuts, but like,
it was practically like no selling it. Almost as if he was like, this is so fucking stupid. I ain't got nothing to say. This is the stupidest goddamn thing I've ever seen. That's kind of what it was giving more than like, oh, I'm shocked into silence.
yeah, because it was
Um,
so sad. There was no energy behind it.
no,
Oh,
I'm
this
definitely,
is crazy.
yeah, I've definitely done that on comms before. Like when you really just don't give a fucking shit about something and it unfortunately accidentally comes through your voice. But yeah, I just thought
Look,
it was,
Lucy Simons,
I
2026.
just can't. So sometimes the match sucks. I'm sorry, but it's alright. None of the wrestlers listen to this podcast. They don't give a shit. I just thought it was absolutely wild that these two had just been given creative freedom on a random Wednesday night. Like, crazy. They were bleeding all over the spot. I do wonder why they didn't do this at Revolution instead of the trios match. Maybe, and I think we discussed this, there was just too many violent matches already on that card, that were sort of built up. They had stipulations to be these intense, extreme situations, so they just didn't want to put another one on. Maybe that's the only sort of justification I can think of. But I guess it's yeah, a little bit of spice on this. This is Dynamite, definitely fucking memorable. Yeah, Gabe spent, like you mentioned earlier, most of the match wearing a straight jacket, just fucking hilarious, iconic. Um, I felt like for these two, this was probably actually healed something inside them, like very cathartic for them. This felt like a moment that they would have really enjoyed. And I'll tell you what I enjoyed. I enjoyed the finish. I actually thought the finish was really good. So, Darby dropped like two coffin drops on Gabe Kidd, and then he was sort of teetering on the outside of the ring, and then Darby did this big suicide dive, pushed him in the coffin, and like the lid slammed shut after him. So it wasn't like it was
Yeah.
just like the momentum of him falling, and it made it shut. So he had no choice. Like it wasn't as if Darby had like shoved his dead body in there and had to like shove the lid shut. It felt like almost like a natural ending. Go Kid had no choice in the matter, and I thought that was a really nice finish.
And it's more like, yeah, I do want to watch another match now because it was like a to be continued, like continue because like it felt like he was cheating a bit,
Quite
like,
sudden.
oh, he's
Mm.
gone, yeah, like you say, it's not as final as I'm gonna dump his body in and slam it shut. Oh, it made me cringe when he crushed his fingers, when he crushed
Oh yeah,
Darby's fingers.
yeah.
Oh, that were nasty. Oh, those paper cuts were bloody nasty as well in that Texas death match.
Oh, oh, it's stuff
That
like
was
that that's the
sick.
worst because we know what it feels like to have a paper cut or to have your fingers smashed in a door or something. That's why like little spots like that are always more effective because it's you can
What
relate.
What do you think about? Because I saw a video the other day, it just came from my TikTok, and it was Maven. I don't know whether he's just running out of content. I remember Maven just used to like post like a few chill videos. Now he's like, I don't know, he's always like stirring up shit, I feel like. But he was talking about like how gimmick matches work and like the barbed wire and they prop it and they cut the barbs down and then they fold them in. So it's not actually as like bad as it seems. But obviously everything's propped and everything's gimmicked. But it's just like, why would you? What are you gaining from like telling people that? It's like a magic trick, and it's like
Yeah.
now I have this knowledge. I didn't want to know that, but it came up on my TikTok. I did not seek this out. I did not seek this. Like I didn't click on a video that was like exposing how death matches are done and shit like that. It's just like I don't understand what the gain is from that. Because like I say, it's like a magician being like, this is how the trick's done.
The
Like what?
gain
Why?
the gain is views.
Yeah, the gain is
TikTok
views and
shop
money.
revenue, baby. That's the point. And that's what
That's
Maven's all about
true.
nowadays. It's all just clickbait. That's he's building his career. I mean, fair fucking enough. If I had a career in WWE and then fell off, I'd want to make something of it as well. And content's a great way to go. People are interested in this sort of thing. So yeah, but I agree with you.
But
You don't. I
it's
don't really.
not his secret to tell. Like, fair enough if
Yeah,
he wants
right.
to talk about like backstage politics and things that happened to him directly, but I think it's a bit selfish to expose like big parts of the
No,
business.
it's super selfish. Yeah, yeah. Certain things you want to suspend your disbelief. Yeah, 100%, 100%.
So now
Um,
whenever I watch a barbed wire match, like I'll never feel that. It'll never shock me because Maven took the match. It's like being told Santa's not real. Fuck
well,
you, Maven.
well, but like thinking of that Texas death match though, the glass, for example, I don't feel like you kind of, and don't correct me if I'm wrong in the comments because I don't want to
Real
know, but I
glass.
don't feel like you could fake that, can you? Because the fucking was stuck in their skin. It looked
Yeah, but
fucking
it's sugar
pain.
glass.
Yeah, but still, that's gonna hurt if it's
Yeah, it's
stuck
gonna
in your
hurt,
back.
but it's not. But
It's
it's
not
like
furry.
plasticky, in it. It's not
It's
like for me. Glass spots never really got me. Like when they're being dragged through the glass, I'm like whatever. But when they get the Lego out or the thumbtacks,
yeah.
that gets me.
Thumbtacks, that's a big one. Exactly. You can't. Oh, it's a gimmick thumbtack. No, it's fucking not. Get a grip. You can't gimmick a thumbtack. Um,
But
but
all it's
yeah,
gonna do as well is drive people to more extremes because
yeah, right.
sickos like Darby Allin, they're gonna be like, oh, well, can't have that now. I need to have like a tasered barbed wire or something. It's just gonna drive people to worse things because like years ago, a chair shot to the
Was
I mean people do
well
it to the head, but to even the back is like, whoa, this is crazy. But then now people know that like the
desensitized.
chairs are kind of gimmicked, so then it's like, okay, we need to go to another level. Let's do a table spot. Oh, people know that's gimmicked. Now we need to set on fire. Oh no, now people know the fire's gimmicked. Oh, now we need Darby Allin to come out with a flamethrower. Oh, now we need Darby Allin to be
Crash his
suspended
car.
upside down. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, where's the limit?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, but back in the day though, people were genuinely
Back
hitting
in
each
there.
other in the head with chairs, and that did fucking hurt, and that did give people concussions. And also, exploding barbed wire death matches, that's all I'm gonna say. I mean, actually, actual good ones, not like
Mm.
shit ones. Cough, cough, John Moxley. Proper
But
ones.
I thought
Wow.
the props were really. I was really impressed when they flew into that production table-y area
Oh
and
yeah,
all
that's
the
cool.
fireworks went off, and then the way there was like those little sparks afterwards. I was like, do
Yeah.
you know what? That was really cool. I liked that.
I'll tell you what as well, I was wearing headphones when I was watching that and it genuinely made me jump. Like when they did the ones afterwards, the little explosions, I was like, oh, fucking
Yeah,
hell.
like. You know what made me lock in? It was when at the start of the match and he got that bin lid and he just whacked it on his head. And
Brilliant.
it really like I was like, okay, I'm watching. Not that
That's
I
what I
wasn't before.
mean.
I was like, I think I was like looking at something on my phone. I was like, holy shit, okay,
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm present. Fuck
Mhm.
me.
That's what I mean though. It's like stuff to the head. Like, geez, you can't really. It's hard to protect your head. You're just getting hit flush on your skull. Yeah, stuff like that's horrible to watch, but awesome at the same time. Um. So anyway, after the coffin match, Darby Allin got a microphone and he just cracked me up. He looked fucking wild, blood all over his face. He was like crazed looking at the camera. He said, I'm going to hold that throttle until I see God or the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. Maxwell Jacob Friedman, I'm coming. And it just hilarious. Just hilarious. And there was
Yeah.
someone with a sign in the background that said go to therapy, which just summed it all up perfectly.
Men will do anything but go to therapy meme. That is
Honestly,
literally Gabe Kane and Darby Allin.
exactly. They will have a whole ass coffin match instead of going to therapy.
Yeah.
And the next thing on the show also made me feel like if I was having a fever dream. The Jurassic Express, Luchasaurus was driving a bus. They blew all
Benga
the
bus.
marketing budget for the year on this bus that they decked out with Lucha, with their Jurassic Express all over it. There was a CGI squirrel. There goes the rest of the marketing budget for some fucking reason. I'm confused. I'm confused, but I'm kind of here for it. And yeah, so Luchasaurus is picking up Jack Perry and they go drive to the arena and they hop out of the bus. And I have to say, they cut the most scripted, unnatural promo of all time. And as much as I love these people, Jesus Christ, their delivery was very robotic. So Jack was like, Young Bucks like my family. And then the Young Bucks came in shot and they were all, speaking of family, this Sunday was a really hard one for our family. And they were saying, blah blah blah. Yeah, we're really sad. We lost in front of our kids, but what kind of fathers would we be if we didn't get up and keep fighting? So yeah, setting up for the trios match that they had later tonight. What did you make of all this?
Yeah, I loved it. I thought the whole show was very creative. Like it just felt like
It
everyone
was
was because obviously this is something that has them all over it. Like the 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 creativity and the knife and the bus. I have no doubt that Jack Perry probably had some handling it because he's a crafty boy. And then the corniness of it just has the
yeah.
books all over it. Of like, I can just see him going to Jack Perry and Luchasaurus and being like, "Wouldn't it be cool if we do this?" And like, it's just so them. So yeah, and then there was I can't remember what he said at the end. Luchasaurus like screamed something equally
Bitch.
cheesy. Yeah, like bitch to Okada. And then Jack Perry's just seen in shot absolutely creasing. And it was the fact that it was like it was very self-aware. Like I'm in GCSE drama and this is my shit drama piece, but I'm
It
aware it's shit and I'm laughing along with it and it was just very camp and very fun. So
was very whimsical.
whimsical, yeah. That's
Yeah.
how we soften the blow.
Yeah, it was definitely camp, definitely whimsical. Um, well, speaking of camp, Swerve Strickland, the most dangerous man in AEW, don't you forget that. Um, he was in the ring, cutting a promo, um, which I thought was a really strong promo, to be fair. Um, he's basically saying that, like, oh, look, I've just proven how dangerous I am. And but I'm still not satisfied because the power lies elsewhere in AEW and power means more than championships. He says, I've been up against power my whole life when I was in the military, when I was in the indies, when I was stuck in developmental, a bit of a dig there at WWE. And he said, Kenny, it makes no sense for me to beat you twice and get nothing for it, which actually, yeah, fair enough, you're right, it doesn't make any sense. And says, I don't just want you to be out of power, I want to take your power from you. So he challenged Kenny, so instead of it just being a number one contendership match, that Kenny would put his EVP status on the line, and if Swerve wins, he will become an executive vice president of AEW.
Is that what it's
So,
insinuating? I thought it just he'd
yeah.
just lose the EVP thing. I didn't think Swerve
No,
would be
that was,
taking it.
yeah, no, that was his kind
Oh,
of,
that's cool.
I'm pretty sure anyway, that like, oh, I don't want to dethrone you, I want it for myself.
Because I can't remember it was when the Bucks lost their EVP status, and I
Yes.
thought it was,
And
and then it wasn't.
similar
So I
type
found
of
that very
thing.
anticlimactic.
Yeah, yeah. I think, excuse me, yawning there. I think that, yeah, this time it is Swerve coming to, I guess he wants to be in his corporate era. Um,
Mm,
so I mean that's pretty different and cool, I guess, and like adds
yeah.
a bit of spice to their rematch, which I'm sure was, you know, regardless, I would have been excited for it. So, bit yeah, a nice stip on that.
Yeah, I like the presentation of the lights off and the way
Yeah.
the promo was delivered was very good. But I wasn't that enthralled with it because I was like, well, why would he challenge him for his EBP thing? Because that has no relevancy. So I didn't realize he was going to acquire that power. So now I'm like, oh, it's actually quite intriguing. But before I was like, oh, this is just a bit lame. But I didn't fully understand, so that's on me.
Well, we'll see how it plays out. I could also be wrong. They might, who knows where they're going to go with that, because that's an interesting little hole. Because it's like, well, can he become number one contender, or that probably makes more sense than putting Swerve in that EVP position. I have no idea where to go with that. So that's intriguing at the very least. Um, After that we had Mike Bailey cutting a little promo, which was very cute, and he was sort of saying it to Renee, but also like to the camera, and she was sort of awkwardly like out of shot. I didn't really like that, but whatever. I was convinced he was going to get jumped just because the way they angled it, but he didn't. And he essentially said that mental toughness is what makes you a star, not just physical toughness. So that set up quite nicely for the match that followed, which was him versus Mark Davis. I feel like these two went unreasonably hard, but Mike Bailey always does. The typical high flying things from Speedball, shooting star press, standing moonsault. There was a really cool moment where Bailey like caught him completely off guard with like a spinning kick, and Mac Davis as well, like look giving the what's the word I'm looking for, like size advantage and the strength advantage. So yeah, it worked well, and he did what I'm just trying to picture it in my head. So he did like the knees to the midsection, and then roundhouse kick in the corner, and then sort of shot him off the middle rope with the knees for the win for Mike Bailey. So I enjoyed it a lot. Yeah, it was a random Dynamite match with no build, and I feel like they knocked it out of the park, and I had a lot of fun. But again, it's not loads to write home about, but solid.
Yeah, just a stellar bit of wrestling, a bit of the mid card. Um, yeah, yeah, really, really good. Good to see a bit more Speedball because obviously he's kind of been in the shadows a bit with the Kevin Knight push. So it's good to see him kind of get his moments. And Matt Davis has really, really proven himself. Like, really was not into him. And when he came back and he joined the Callis family, I was like, don't really care.
Mm.
But he's really proven himself, and he's just a really consistent, reliable member of the roster, and that's why he keeps getting put out into these matches and he works really well
Exactly.
with. We don't have a lot of guys that are like him and of his build. We got a lot fast
Mm.
moving twinks, and we have a lot of twink on twink action, so it's good to kind of throw him out there and have him to kind of bounce off of, and then the fact that he's heel as well, it's just really easy to stick him in there, isn't it? And watch him put on a great match. And I said, Mike Bailey always goes unnecessarily hard. So, yeah, great stuff.
Speaking of which, as well, they did a spot on the apron where Matt Davis essentially just dumped Mike Bailey on the apron. I was like, geez, fuck off with that. What's the need for that? But yeah, these two leaving it all in the ring and making the most of the minutes, as they say. So it was really good. Following that was MJF talking to the camera. I think it was straight after his match at Revolution. He was out of breath. He was covered in blood, and essentially was saying, I'm way above schedule, way ahead of schedule, and become one of the best of all time. Or you can call me Mr. Revolution, just being cocky little dickhead. And he said, I'm going to celebrate by doing what all the best rock stars do. And I thought he was going to say something like, go and start a line, go bang a horse, something like that. No, he went, I'm going to go to Disneyland. So that was unexpectedly wholesome. And I've just seen...
I can't remember the podcast if it was a Chris Van Fleet one where he was talking about, and he's like, I have no enjoyment. My only enjoyment is going to theme parks and riding roller coasters.
Oh. I'd seen Alicia put a post up today of a picture of them in Disneyland, so he did actually get to go to Disneyland. Very sweet.
Hell yeah, I love Disneyland. Like, the cringe ass Disney adults are cringe. But then I also think the people who really, like, there's certain people who just really hate on Disney because of the cringe Disney adults, and I'm like, it's just a mouse, bro. Like, that's my reaction to both of these people. People are fucking wetting themselves over a fucking hidden Mickey. Like those memes, and it's like when a kid falls off a roller coaster, but the blood that pulls from his head forms into a hidden Mickey. And then you got the people on the other end of the fucking spectrum who are like raging, and it's like, my brother in Christ, it's just a mouse. It's not that deep. It's just not that deep.
Yeah. I'm somewhere in the middle. I don't really get the hype for Disneyland, but I've never been, so I wouldn't get it.
Oh. I've never been Walt Disney World. I have been Universal twice growing up, and like the theme parks in that area. I've been Disneyland Paris like 4 times. I love it.
It seems
so yeah,
like
hell yeah.
It's an amazing place to take children. But I'm a bit like, I guess, are the rides good? This isn't a Disney
the rides are so fun, and parades, and it's so fun. Like, there's a castle, there's food, there's like a Mickey Mouse shaped cookie. Like, it's just fun. Like, the world is miserable.
If you turn around to me and say, I really want to go to Disneyland Paris, please will you come with me? I'd be like, let's price it up. Yeah, let's go. If I can afford it, yeah, we'll go. But me and like Ian would never turn around and be like, you know what we're going to go do this year? We're going to go to Disneyland. Like, that's just not something we'd do. But if my friend was like, I really want to take you to Disney, I'd be like, fuck yeah, I'm up for it. So I guess I'm somewhere in the middle.
You can go on Pirates of the Caribbean ride and be a pirate. It's so fun. Like, it's so fun.
I've never seen such childlike whimsy and joy from you.
Yeah. I do have a nice side. It's just buried deep down. But I think moving on now, was it Okada's segment next?
Yes.
Am I right in saying
Yeah,
that?
you're right.
So it was setting up for the trios main event. And to be honest with you, kind of from the MJS thing, it kept like cutting out a little bit for me. So I didn't know. That's why I'm asking. So I didn't know whether like I'd missed a match or something. So this segment cut out quite a bit for me. He was like, we were never family. I'm only loyal to, and then it cut out to the No Holds Barred match.
Oh, so he was like, I'm only loyal to the Don Callis family. Unlike Takeshita, who was...
I missed out on this great line.
Yeah, and he was, obviously throwing massive shade at Takeshita for shaking Moxley's hand at Revolution, and throwing shade at the Bucks, and it was just classic kind of being a shit house, basically.
Brilliant. So then we had the no holds barred match, which was Marina Shafir and Mina Shirakawa, and like basically in place or in defense of Toni Storm. I thought Marina, when she
Oh,
was walking to the ring, she had a lot of confidence.
so does this mean that you missed the part where Tony got jumped?
No, because that they showed that during the entrance.
Oh, okay, right, yeah.
So
Sorry, I'm
yeah,
skipping ahead there.
so I feel like Shafir's confidence has grown a lot,
Yeah.
which definitely makes her more. Because I've always liked her as a character and as a person, but like when it's like, oh, we've got this, and I think she's worked well in the multi women matches and the blood and guts match. I thought she was fantastic in that. But when it's kind of been one on one, it's just not always delivered for me. But I think she's found her style and she's grown in confidence, and that's just made her so much more enjoyable as a performer. She's really feeling
Yeah.
herself walking into this. I was like, oh, I'm feeling you. You're feeling you. I'm feeling you. Because that's how I'm all about vibes. So yeah, then they kind of cut back and showed. It was so weird. It was like just Tony lying in a pool of her own blood. Um,
Yeah, it was very
really
strange.
intense.
Yeah, it was like
Like
was
0
it
to 100.
Luther was like crying and you're like,
Yeah.
what the hell? And yeah, she's just lying in a pool of her own blood and absolutely no context whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's like a big whodunit.
Like Cluedo. So her girlfriend, her wifey, is fighting for her in place. Um, yeah, I thought this was really, really, really cool. Um, I like when Marina was like, I don't need no bat, and then proceeded to pick up the bat. That
Yeah.
was like, Shaw girl, Shaw. And I thought Marina Shafir was very convincing. Like she was wrestling out the gate, like she wanted vengeance. She played her part really well. Um, it was a bit gnarly, spitting the champagne in Marina's face, and I was thinking, I really hope that gets shattered over someone's head. And it did. It got smashed on Shafir with then the back fist being landed and a Storm Zero for the win. So yeah, I mean we got the coffin match and then we got this, and it was just short and sweet, but just enough violence and not too hokey, not like, here's a set of props and I'm gonna go through them. It felt natural, it felt like they were on each other, and just a lot of fun, and obviously quite satisfying to see Shafir be beat with kind of the shenanigans that had gone on at Revolution with Rousey, and then with the who done it, and then like yeah, because it cut to Marina Shafir and she was like, I might have done it, I might not. Lol, like the whole thing
So
was just
weird.
very weirdly sold. Because it's like you say, is that them being vague on purpose because of Ronda Rousey? Is that just like what is kind of the deal with that? But yeah, I enjoyed the match.
Yeah, yeah, me too. I didn't find it like overwhelming that we had the two violent matches either. I loved it and um I loved that it felt quite visceral, like a real fight, especially when Marina sort of locked in the mother's milk and Mina was like scrapping to get out of it. She like raked her eyes. I thought that was a great reversal, great way to get out of it. And the table spot as well, like the back suplex. Oh my gosh. Mina pretty much missed the table and her head just went straight on the floor. Horrid. And yeah, I love the finish. I love like Mina standing up for Tony and getting the job done. I really wasn't expecting her to win, so I was caught off
No.
guard. And I didn't think I could love Mina Shirakawa more than I already did, but like seeing her pick up what felt like a really big win, showing how tough she was, doing it for Tony, it felt so ecstatic. I was like, this is beautiful. What a beautiful moment. With like absolutely no build to it either, really.
Yeah, and I think the violent matches definitely have a place post pay-per-view because it's like, yeah, like this is the after party, this is the hangover from the night or a couple of nights before, and yeah, you are gonna wanna like it makes sense that they'd go to Tony and be like, I want this match booked, I want to beat the shit out of this person. So I'm like all for it. Like to me it makes a lot of
Yeah,
a
absolutely.
lot of sense. Um So then we had Renee with Andrade, and she was basically asking what are you doing next. A briefcase is delivered from MJF, which was like a big question mark, and then Don
Mm,
Callis is
on
on FaceTime, and he's
FaceTime.
like, accept this large amount of money, and Andrade is like, we're working with MJF, and Don Callis is like, we've got to take care of Darby, which it's just a bit like Darby just is constantly dealing with like all these like side bosses, and I think it would just
Mhm.
be nice for him to just we've done this so many and I guess it does make sense for like MJF. Like, yeah, MJF wouldn't want to waste his time on Darby Allin, he would hire a mercenary, but it's like Darby just always gets like he was caught up with the death threat, and it's like we've seen him go through a faction of people and have to fight him off. Surely after this he should move on to like at the least a
Mhm.
single feud or like a single competition, which yeah, to me, it's just like it's just not very appealing.
Yeah, yeah, me too. Me too. And it's another I just find the angle quite strange, and they're doing it again where it's like Don Carl's family is like, are we really working with MJF? What the fuck? And I get it, like, yeah, Don Carlos is corrupt, MJF is corrupt. Like that makes sense for their characters, sure. But yeah, I agree. I feel like Darby needs a bit more focus. He's just a bit all over the spot, isn't he? So, eh, meh.
Yeah, pretty much. And then we had the main event, which had a lot of time left on it because then we had obviously I was like, Jesus Christ, letting us go for a while, but then they had the segment after. So,
Yeah.
Young Bucks and Jack Perry against Okada, Trent Beretta, and Rocky Romero. Um, I thought the Young Bucks to lose and come into this match and look as good as they did and wrestle as good as they did and not like miss a beat and not really lose that much momentum because of how like gracefully they lost was really good. I thought Rocky and Trent um they weren't a charisma void, which I think, looking at them on the poster on the match card, it's not you're like a card, oh cool, and then the Trent Beretta, Rocky Romero, but in the actual match because they are quite, they are good wrestlers. They might not have the strongest character or the strongest charisma on the mic, but they didn't take away from my enjoyment from the match. They were on the same level as everyone else,
Hmm.
I thought. Um, we had some dick biting, which was fun.
Oh my God, very
The
strange.
BTE trigger with the assisted knee strike from Jack Perry to Rocky Romero for the win. And then we had the post match bit where Nick was like, on Sunday, we blew it. FTR was the better team. Matt was like, it was my birthday. I couldn't even look at my dad. I was so embarrassed, but we're going to claw our way back up. And, like for the Bucks, there's not that much for them to do in the tag division. Like they've done so much. So it makes sense for them to purposefully like be booked so that they're ripped back down to ground zero, which is kind of what they did when they turned heel. And then they built themselves up to become face. And it's like once the Bucks are on top, they kind of lose that, like they kind of grow a bit stale. So they do have to kind of forcefully like cut the legs out from underneath them to grow again. And because it's been a while since they've been babyface and the crowd seem to be really behind him, it's like, yeah, why not kind of do a run where it's like them kind of clawing up to the top. Um yeah, and then they're like, no one's stopping us. And then Cope came out, um, like wink, wink, these guys are gonna stop them. And they're like, we respect you. FTR attacked my wife. We want to hurt them. Like they basically were like, we agree, but the subtext was, but we're going to be the ones to defeat FTR. So like, yeah, but it
Yeah.
wasn't really set. It was kind of passive aggressive. It was like insinuated. And they're like, we're going to hurt them by taking the titles at Dynasty. It's going to be, and yeah, I also thought they were going to announce it to be a freeway at that point, but they were like, it's going to be FTR versus Cope and Cage. Christian, like I say, kind of doing that like moody friend shtick of like more money, and we're going to prove we're the best tag team of this generation. And like the crowd cheered like when they were like, we're the best tag team of our generation. Like crowd were like, yeah, and then like we're going to prove we're the best tag team of this generation. It's like, yeah, maybe not, bruv. FTR came down. Stoke was like, so on Sunday, and then they were all like, shut up. And they were so shocked he dropped the mic, and that was quite funny. And then he was like, get him. And yeah, then they came to blows, but obviously it was 2-on-4. And the visual at the end was quite interesting because, like I said, with the insinuation, Cope and Cage were left holding the titles, and the Bucks were there, like leaving the ring, like, oh, like we hate FTR, but then also we're kind of in a conundrum because we want to be the dominant team, but these guys have just helped us and they're holding up the title. So I like that element of it, but we did kind of go over a lot of like our opinions on FTR and Cope and Christian and that kind of happening again. So yeah, that's my conclusions on the show. I don't know what you thought of that finishing segment.
I guess my main takeaway from this is that like I love Christian. He's so real. He's just being himself. And I also like the way they've done it with the book. So like they were so emotionally vulnerable. They brought their fucking kids down. It melted my heart when they made that big entrance at Revolution. And
who was that diva? Like that one child that was like absolutely like
popping off,
living her best life. Yeah, she really popped off.
The gymnastics girl. I'm not sure whose kid that was, but yeah, she was smashing it. So when they lost, I was genuinely surprised, but I'm like, now this is exactly it. It's like that was sort of like they were at the top, but they've hit the bottom now because they felt like they let the whole family down. Like you said, they need to like work themselves back up, build up to being successful again. And I like the concept of them sort of being like, oh well, you two are like about Cope and Christian, like you're the two legends. Do you deserve this opportunity more than us because we've just lost to FTR, and then having that self-doubt, but then being like, but also a little bit of jealousy, a bit of like animosity there because they're like, well, we want this opportunity to get our revenge, but you've just come in and took it from us. I like it. I think there's a lot of different intricacies going on there, which I do actually enjoy a lot. I know I said I was pretty down on, well, not down, but just quite neutral about Cope and Christian returning, but I feel like the way this is playing out is quite interesting. So yeah, that's in a long-winded sense what I thought about all of that. So that was it. That was Dynamite. What do you think out of 10?
I think a 9.
A 9. Whoa.
A 9.
That's a big score. But there's nothing really to take it down. And especially like talking about it, I've had so much fun talking about it and like the way it's got us thinking back to Revolution and the different things that have come out of that, and now we're taking things forward. I feel like it was positive. A lot of really nice wrestling matches happening. So yeah, I'd agree with a 9.
9s across the board.
And of course, listener, do let us know what you would rate this week's Dynamite out of 10, and obviously what you thought of Revolution as well. And we'll be keen to hear all your opinions on that. Do please leave a like or a 5-star rating on Spotify. It helps us to reach more people, and subscribe so that you don't miss out on a single episode. Hopefully, we'll see how things go, like in terms of getting into the swing of maybe doing weekly Dynamite reviews again, hopefully, or whatever it may be. Like we're gonna still be here with the content. So let us know what you want to see from us and what your opinions are on the current state of wrestling, all the hot topics that we've covered, because we do read every single comment and we really appreciate you guys sticking with us.
I must bid you adieu, goodbye, you and good night, bad.
I wish you died in the womb.